Hello, everybody. Spider here, DeFi Car Podcast, coming to you from San Antonio, Texas. As always, Aaron Suarez, my man, where are you at in Brazil? Where are you at this morning, man?
I'm I'm on location. I'm on location and yeah, let's go with Brazil. It'll sound exotic.
One of the two, right? Brasso Street, maybe?
Yeah, I do that. I'm just over here in the hood.
No, no, definitely, bro. If I hear any gunshots, man, don't worry, bro. I'll go ahead and log off, and we'll keep going afterwards, bro.
Yeah, no, I think right now, dude, you'll probably only hear the roosters. So that's about it.
I'm actually looking at getting chickens in the yard, bro. We already got a chicken coop going, and
Yeah.
yeah, bro. So that's something. I mean, we got dogs, we don't have cats, but we got fish, turtles, birds, you name it, bro. So
You
we
got
fix.
everything else.
But bro, I mean, it's been a minute. We haven't been able to talk. I know every time we try to hit each other up, you're busy or I'm ignoring you. One of the two. Something's always going on. But yeah, man. But I mean, I wanted to bring you on here like always, bro. I mean, I appreciate your wisdom. Your 2 cents coming in. And one of them was this fight that happened over the weekend, man. Of course, we've missed quite a few, but the UFC Vegas, number 59 happened,
Yeah.
and I mean, I was excited, man. I mean, there was of course Jeff Neal, he was on that card.
Yeah.
The Ultimate Fighter contestants, of course, the tournament were on there, so those were actually pretty good. But did you happen to catch anything, bro? Especially as far as like
Dude,
highlights or the
man,
fight?
man, I saw the Jeff Neal, man. He looked really good. He
Yeah,
looked he looked really sharp, man. Especially with that finish, and I think that was probably something that he needed to have was that finish to kind of solidify him back in the rankings, man. But yeah, no, he looked good, man. I didn't catch the ultimate the finale or whatever with the Ultimate Fighter. I had been meaning to watch the whole episodes with the Ultimate Fighter and stuff with Juliana and Amanda, just because I wanted to see how Juliana was going to take to being, uh, back on the show again, but this time in a coaching capacity. But then also just trying to see how she's going to relate to like Limelight a little bit because she literally went from being nobody essentially to she beat Nunes, and then now she's getting media, she's getting all this, and then uh, seeing how that was gonna like mess up her training camp if anything at all. And then of course we come to fight night and she just gets ragdolled, and just beaten for for 5 rounds.
let me ask you this, bro. What do you think happened, man?
Man, I think what happened is a lot of what usually happens anyways, man, is when you do as an underdog, you do something, you beat somebody that you probably weren't supposed to beat, and then you get that little bit of fame. Well, I mean, whether she wants to believe it or not, I mean, there had to have been some kind of change in her mentality wise. Like maybe she wasn't training as hard, maybe she was, or maybe she just figured that, hey, I can do the same exact thing, and she didn't really, evolve. But I mean, you think about. I mean, we've talked about it before with fighters. We don't like fighters selling their own tickets because what does it do? It takes away from their training,
Right.
and she just beat Amanda Nunes, who they talk about the Mount Rushmore of women and all that stuff. Or she's on it, and do you expect her life to be simple? You expect it to be the way it was beforehand, and it really isn't, man. It's she has interviews and she has media obligations, and then now press conferences and all that stuff or whatever. Where does how does she balance between that when she's never had it and also training? So I think that really affected her a lot. I mean, she's tough as hell, and she always has been. I mean, I going into the first fight, I mean, I had picked her to win, and I thought she would have done it maybe the second time around. But I think a trilogy fight, uh, given given how lopsided it was, I think it still should happen. Should it be immediately? Probably not. But I mean, I think it should still happen.
No, no, for sure, man. I mean, when they first fought, I mean, being the underdog, I love underdogs, bro, because for one thing, they got nothing to lose. So they're going to leave everything out there and they're going to throw stuff that maybe they wouldn't have thrown in training or just, to see if it lands, man. But, I mean, when she won, I wasn't a fan of her. I mean, I respect her and everything that she's doing for the sport and has done, but it's just, I mean, I didn't think she was going to win the first time. My thing on the first bout was that I thought maybe Nunes was actually distracted. Maybe something about her. I mean, I didn't feel like she came in there her normal self, man. Maybe it was, maybe she wasn't feeling it. Maybe she thought maybe she would lose. I don't know. Maybe her mental game wasn't strong. But on this one, I mean, even on the interview after the fight, she had posted that she could have finished it earlier, but that she wanted to just prove a point. I don't believe that. I don't know. Maybe she could have finished it earlier, man. I just,
Yeah,
her opponent's tough as hell, dude. So I mean, there's no quit. And but we've talked about it before, man, because it's not a good thing to say, oh, well, I can take a beating for 3 rounds or 5 rounds, and I mean, she did, but because they're athletes, I mean, anything can happen. She could have knocked out, Nunes in round 5, or caught her
yeah.
in a submission. I mean, we never know. So of course the fights continue, man. But I mean, do you think it should have gone off 5 rounds? I mean, do you think the ref should have jumped in on the first time and jumped in?
I can understand why Nunes wanted it to go all 5 rounds and just really just show dominance throughout the whole fight and really just separate the skill, because I think Amanda Nunes' skill set, it's way above Juliana's. Um, but yeah, I think Amanda would have. I I think I think she had satisfaction going all 5 rounds, and just beating the crap out of her. But I also think she would have made a bigger statement had she just finished it in maybe the second or third, and just, hey, like, yeah, we're really kind of just shown that the last one was a fluke, because you go all 5 rounds and you're dominating this and that, but you're not putting her away. You're, whether she realizes it or not, I think she's still adding credit to Juliana, and I think she's still solidifying her as a really tough opponent and everything like that. And I think a third fight, uh, I don't think you'd want to do that again. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think you'd want to do, because even after the fight, like, Nunez was still, she was limping, she was hurt, she had the one eye closed, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, do you really want to go through that again? You know what I mean? And I think if she had the capability to finish Juliana earlier, I think she would have. But I think she's kind of full of it.
Oh yeah, bro. Because for me, I mean, now that it went all 5 rounds, I mean, now like you said, it's gonna make her opponent Juliana look good, and so now they're gonna be like, hey, well, let's do a trilogy because she couldn't
Yeah,
finish her.
yeah,
So
no,
maybe
exactly.
who knows, man. But yeah, man. I mean, the second bout happened, of course. Nunes, of course, she's a double champion again. I mean, something that
Yeah,
she's an elite group. She's in one of those statuses. But let me ask you, bro. On top of that, the fight that just happened, UFC Vegas. Um, it was Usman's brother, Muhammad. Of course, that
yeah,
he was the tournament winner for the Ultimate Fighter. He got that win, man. I mean, the fight, there was two big guys. I think not myself, but a lot of people too were posting like, "Oh man, he's gonna gas out and he's gonna get tired." And when he walked into the fight, he was lean. I was like, "Damn!" I mean, he actually worked on cardio, man, and I was impressed. I mean, the fact that he was able to keep going and actually take his opponent out, dude, that was pretty impressive, man. But I mean, will he be able to continue that? Because I think they got a was it a 3 fight contract or for the
yeah.
UFC?
It's something like that. I don't know what the actual stipulations are. I mean, as far as after you win it and stuff like that. But I mean, I I don't know, man. I've always felt a certain way with the Ultimate Fighter, just because. I mean, it, to me, it's always about who you know, right? I mean, and don't you think Usman's brother would have gotten a shot in the UFC? One way. You know what I'm saying? Like, not hating or whatever you want to call it, but at the same time, it's for guys that kind of don't have a legitimate opening to get into the UFC, or at least I'm thinking that way. But you look on the show, and you have all these guys that are connected to Team Alliance, or they know these people, or they know that, and it's like, okay, well, they're gonna get a shot regardless. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, the fact that Usman, he won it. I mean, I don't think it was a big surprise either. I think he was kind of probably heavily favored anyways, as far as winning the whole show. So, uh, but I mean, you got the benefit of your brother being in the UFC. You're gonna have the same type of access. You're gonna have the same type of, you know, access to all the different trainers and doctors, and he knows what to expect already. So, I would like to see more guys that are kind of unknown getting that shot, and to get into the house or whatever, and to actually win it. But I think he's going to do fine in the UFC. I think he's going to be able to make he'll do his 3 fight deal. I think he'll probably stay. He'll be consistent. Where he ends up after this, as far as maybe a fight night, or if it goes into a pay-per-view, I mean, that's kind of up in the air. But I would assume anytime Usman's on a big card, he's going to be on the prelims.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Get the whole family paid.
No, no, for sure, man. And I mean, and we'll see, man. I mean, whether or not he can, they made history being the only two brothers that went through the Ultimate Fighter. And let's see if they make history and they both hold the title at the same time. I mean, that'd be interesting if Usman can hold the title that long, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Which and going into our next point, man, is Leon Edwards.
Yeah.
I think he does have the durability to kind of to last in there, man. I think I don't think he's I think he's a big underdog, but I think there's somebody who can do it. I think Edwards winning needs to happen. I think that needs to happen to kind of really shake up those rankings and let Usman kind of just go off into the sunset a little bit. I think that welterweight division, is a little stale right now. And then of course you got Nate and Chimaev and you know I love me some Nate Diaz, but damn, yeah, I don't think this is a good fight.
And he's been posting, man, and you know what, man, I believe he can, bro. I mean, I'm gonna be watching that fight. I'll probably won't have fingernails by the time I'm done watching it, but I'm gonna be nervous, man. But I think
Yeah,
he can. It's just gonna be one of those long shots, like from hell, you know. I mean, he's gonna have
yeah,
to dig deep and actually do some damage early, which can he do? I mean, it's like he's like everybody knows him as being a late starter.
yeah.
Everybody knows him as, for him to take up to round three to actually get warmed up and get going. And I mean, by that he might be too late, man. I mean, that's what happened with Masvidal.
Yeah, but I think looking at the Gilbert Burns fight with Chimaev, Chimaev doesn't come off as hitting hard. I don't think so. I don't think he has the same type of power. And so I think if you look at Nate, and I mean he was still in there even with Masvidal, and Masvidal was kicking him and punching him with everything and dropping him and stuff like that. I'm not sure if Chimaev has that same type of power to do that and to kind of put Nick away, or I'm sorry, which we had with Nate away. I was gonna say Nick, uh, but if he doesn't, and which I don't think he does, like, yeah, rounds 3, 4, and 5. I mean, we saw Chimaev gas out. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? And then you imagine, Nate just slapping him and then giving him that style, and then all of a sudden he's getting that momentum, and you
yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like, so I mean, if it does go in the later rounds, uh, yeah, I can definitely see Nate winning it just because of the fact of how much we learned from that Gilbert Burns fight, and but also granted, I mean, Nate also doesn't have punching power. It's a lot of volume, and Gilbert has that punching power, and yet he still couldn't, put Chimaev away. So, there's it kind of balances out. I think the fight's a lot closer than what people think, but I think that first round is really just kind of show how much
But
there's separate.
let me say this, man, because in the beginning there was like was for example like Robbie Lawler. When he first got into the scene, like people were tagging him and nobody could knock him out. And then Nick Diaz fought him, and Nick Diaz was more like he wasn't using power, man. He really stunned him, and he took him out, man. So is there a difference you would say like be getting hit hard, like somebody just freaking throwing all their to compare to just like a straight jab?
you know, it's I mean, fighters they talk about having a rhythm, having some type of flow in the fight, right? And so you look at like when you're holding pads for somebody, you want them to be in some type of flow. You can hear the beat on the pads, you can hear all that stuff. So
Oh,
when you disrupt that or whatever, and it translates over into fighting, like, yeah, that sucks. You know what I'm saying? Because you got this 1-2 kick, or you got this 2-3-2 kick, knee, or whatever, and then they throw that rhythm off by throwing a jab in there, or they're throwing volume, and you can't get off, you can't find the range. Like, yeah, that sucks. It does something to you mentally, to be like, hey, like, I can't seem to settle into the fight. So I think, yeah, with the Diaz brothers, the way they do fight, they disrupt that rhythm. They're throwing heavy. They A lot of times you look at Nick's stance. I mean, he's not even a stable. You know what I'm saying? He's not even stabilized. He just kind of He has his foot up in the air, and he's just kind of just throwing punches out there. So I think if he does do that quite a bit, uh, yeah, and you throw off Jemiah's range, you throw off his timing, like that can mess somebody up as well. So
no, yeah.
yeah, I think throwing volume has a lot of value. But again, man, if you have that punching power, To be able to just stop them in their tracks it's even better.
Man, let me ask you: do you think Nate Diaz would be able to get a submission victory on this?
Uh, I don't see it, man. It had to be something tricky. It would have to be something. It had to be something tricky. It had to be something where it's in the middle of a scramble or something like that. I don't see it happening. But shit, you never know, man. You never know with Diaz. This fight is either gonna end early, because he got knocked out, or it's gonna be, slick submission, or he's gonna slap him and you know ends up TKing Owen Chimaev. Because I think that's the other thing uh, that the Diaz brothers have that a lot of other guys don't, is that kind of that killer instinct. Like once they see that blood, like, they're going after it, regardless of what they look like or how they feel or whatever. So, is it always in their favor? No, but yeah, I mean, there's there's so many possibilities because you have a Diaz in a fight. So
No, yeah, man. And one of the things I like about the Diaz brothers is that, like you said, once they see you in danger, man, they just start peppering you with jabs, bro. Like they won't give you like get settled or get your timing or get. And that's one of the things I've noticed throughout the years is that they always win because they always get somebody in that position to where they're trying to regroup and they're just getting peppered, man. So it's like you
yeah,
can't see nothing, you can't, their timing's off, and it just, everything goes to crap, man.
dude, it's that constant just volume, and it's like suffocating, right? I mean, in jiu-jitsu they talk about, hey, taking them into the ocean and this and that so they can't breathe, but I mean with the Diaz brothers, they're literally taking that same type of philosophy, but they're doing it with their striking and they're doing it with their boxing, and it's just like, I mean, when all you're seeing is jab in front of your face and 1-2 in front of your face, and you can't, like, you take a step back and it's still right there because they're also long as well. They're not short and stocky, so it's like they're long, they're throwing jabs, they're in your face, and then chances are they're probably talking shit to you too. They're at the whole time, so I can imagine being in that cage, hearing all that, seeing all that, and then still trying to keep composure. So it's yeah, man, they're it's a very interesting fight. I think a lot of people are like writing the Diaz brothers off, which, I mean, or Nate off, which I think it's fair, right? Because I think it probably is more than likely going to beat him, but at the same time, it's a fight, and you have a Diaz in there, so the, you probably could win still, and I wouldn't be surprised.
No, no, for sure, man. And I mean, of course, after the fight, Jeff Neal called out, as far as Burns, man. So
Yeah.
that fight I'm interested about, man, because they're both stand-up fighters.
Mm-hmm.
The way Jeff fought this past weekend, bro, was clean. Everything was clean. Going into the fight, he looked leaned. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
for the past two fights that he lost, man. I mean, he was coming off of like a mental block. I mean, he said after the fight, that he was kind of afraid that he was gonna die because
Yeah.
he almost died, and it so happened, man. And my dog's going crazy over here with his toy, man. So, but
Don't
yeah,
feel
man.
your dog or a dog out here. So
Yeah, but
yeah,
yeah.
no.
So with the Burns, I hope it happens, man. I know Burns said he was up for it if Masvidal wasn't gonna fight him, and
Yeah.
like you said, that division, if Usman loses this title bout, it's gonna change a lot, bro. And I'm a fan of that because it's gonna create openings and it's gonna let us know whether or not Usman can come back from a loss. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely, man. I think that's kind of what the division needs right now, is really just kind of just some shake up, right? Because all the other guys that kind of lost to each other, they beat each other, whatever the case may be. And I mean, with Nate pretty much exiting UFC after this fight, I mean, who really has that star power and that star quality, in there? I mean, you have Masvidal still, but he probably has a couple of fights. I don't even know what happened with him and Covington, as far as that whole deal, if that's still going on or
Oh
whatever the
yeah.
case may be. But then Covington, he's probably not fighting for a while either, dealing with all his issues from that attack. So, you need some guys with some star quality power. And I think, I'm sorry, Edwards winning that title, I think that can really, shake it up, get Usman hungry again, especially with his brother being signed now. And then you have Chimaev coming up. You have Gilbert Burns, who I think he's been quiet for a good while because no one's really seen him, or I mean, no one's really no one's really respected him in the aspect of like, oh man, I want to go see a Gilbert Burns pay per view, and he needed Chimaev to really kind of solidify, hey, I can be excited and I can do all these things too. So you put Gilbert Burns along with who did they said Masvidal. I mean, that's gonna be an awesome match. And then who's the other guy? Oh, and then, yeah, Jeff Neal. You put him with the Jeff Neal that just recently fought versus the Burns against Chimaev. Like that's a good ass match. And that's one that's probably going to end early. Second or third round. But I mean, that's a really good fight right there.
No, I mean, of course, man. I mean, just the top 10 alone, I mean, you can mix and match even the top 5, bro. I mean, they're so freaking exciting right now. Now, of course, I wanted to bring up another thing, bro. Tomorrow, it's going to be the Dana White Contender Series, of course. This is season number 6, the third week. And, of course, we've got a local. It's going to be a couple fighters on there. But, I mean, we have Borrego, Zachary getting an opportunity of a lifetime, man, really. The guy's 3 fights in as a pro. I mean, he's got, he fought as an amateur. I mean, of course, he went up through the ranks here through Fury FC. And, being a striker, man, I mean, he's fighting Bo Nickel, bro, the grappler. This is a classic striker versus grappler. And, I mean, I've talked to a few people about not just that bout, but just in general, man, how a lot of these wrestlers, man, I've been watching them on the UFC Fight Pass, and they're getting tired. They shoot in, they get tired. The guy's stuffing the takedown. And a lot of them are losing. Not everybody, of course, but I mean, it shows that, you know what, man, even the best wrestlers, because these guys are coming in collegiate wrestlers, wrestling their whole life, really, man, all the way through college. And it's, I mean, but with that being said, man, I mean, what are you thinking, man? I mean, of course, his dad has been, on the studio before, and I mean, what would you say about a fight like this, man? What would he have to do to get that win?
Well, I mean, I think the blueprint is out there now. I mean, when it comes to just beating wrestlers in general now, right? You got to watch. You got to watch for that overhand. You got to watch for that double. Working that cage. Working off the cage. I'm sorry. And then just not keeping yourself still. I mean, the thing with wrestling, right? They're gonna shoot. They're gonna reshoot. So you're gonna want to make sure that you're moving around and that you're light on your feet, man. I mean, because once they get close to your hips and they're underneath you, and now you're you're possibly going for a ride, that's not where you want to be. So I think Zach does have the footwork to keep himself away from a shot. I think he's very light on his feet. I mean, I think being the fact that he's from the Dojo Academy, right? I mean, with that karate style, with that kickboxing style, with that hard karate stuff, like, yeah, he's gonna be able to stay light on his feet, and he's gonna be able to move and cut the angles and really stay away. Because I mean, shooting in constantly, like you just said, I mean, you're gonna get tired. You know what I'm saying? If he's using a lot of energy to try to get that takedown, well, as you use all that energy, what's gonna happen? Now he's gonna, his hands are gonna start coming down, and then Zach's gonna be able to use that range. He's gonna be able to, jab and front kick like he has in his last couple of fights as a pro. And the thing that strikes me about Zach is the fact that he's knocked down his opponents with kicks and punches and stuff, but they don't even look like they're hitting hard. They just look like they're connecting at the correct time, which is making that punch and kick a lot harder. And I'm not saying that he doesn't hit hard, because I don't want him to come down here and say, hey, well, let me hit you. I'm like, no, I'm fine. I'm done with that, right? Yeah. But what I'm saying is that the way he moves and the way he flows, and the timing of what he's throwing, it doesn't have to connect hard for that to cause some real damage to his opponents. So,
Right.
I mean, I think he can do that again. I mean, if you have a guy that's, is probably going to shoot in on you, I mean, dude, the knees are right there. The uppercut's going to be right there. You're stepping out, hitting that straight right. Like, there's a lot of things that he can do off that defensive to make sure that he's not going to get taken down. So, I'm excited to see it, man. I'm excited to see how he performs under some bigger lights. He's done well on the Fury card. I mean, we talked about it, I think, the last time he was fighting. We're like, hey, man, is he a main card fighter, right? Is he a televised fighter? And I think going from the prelims and then kind of not being on those shows, on TV, to where now he's on a on a bigger stage. I don't think it's bigger, than him right now, but I think he put himself in a good spotlight right now, and I think I know he's been training in Vegas this whole week and kind of getting adjusted, and I see his dad posting all the time, so I think he's in a good spot mentally, man. I think physically, I haven't heard anything as far as any type of injuries or nothing like that. So I mean, I think he's recovering. I don't think he's overwhelmed by anything that's going on right now there in Vegas. So it should be an exciting night, man. It should be a fun night for the South Side of San Antonio.
No, no, for sure, man. And one of the things that you mentioned earlier, man, was that when he kicks, everything looks methodical. Everything looks
Yeah,
like you said, like a jab, But his kicks are landing. When it comes to that's kind of like the question that I asked you earlier about, guys that throw hard, rather to a guy that just throws like a strong jab, man, because
yeah,
power comes from the shoulder, power comes from the hips. I'd rather get hit by somebody that's a freaking brawler, than somebody that's actually throwing that jab constantly, like just to hurt, man. Because there's a
yeah,
difference, There's a lot of muscle memory, and I mean Zach, having grown up through the ranks in tournaments for karate. His dad, I mean, he's been in the studio like I mentioned earlier, man, and of course, they are going to be in Vegas, and it's going to be time to gamble, man. I might cash out him like $10, man. Told Greg to see if I can win a couple
yeah.
hundred, man.
He's gonna be like, man, this can't even get me to the table.
Oh yeah, there you go. On the live stream, just not that I don't trust him, but I want to see him win, bro. I'm gonna be like, hey, give him a little finder. But man, of course, I mean, so that's gonna happen. I mean, the Dana White Contender Series is gonna be tomorrow night. For those watching this, of course, there's a lot of places. I know they have a spot in the South Side that's gonna be doing the party, for the people that want to go. One more he mentioned, and I forgot the name out here in the North Side as well, man. But I mean, I would say this: wherever you are in San Antonio, or even the fighters that are fighting outside the city, man, wherever you're at, I would say go watch it. Whether it's a bar or at home, or tell your neighbor to leave the window open that way you can see through. Whatever, bro. It's gonna be interesting.
Oh yeah, no, definitely, man. I think and it's very exciting knowing that a lot more guys from San Antonio are getting that opportunity to, showcase what they got. And I think he's probably the at least fourth or fifth guy, to kind of go through the Contender Series. And you had CJ. I know Ray's done it a couple times. You had Antonio from Pete Spratt's gym, and then of course now Borrego, and so it's an exciting time, man. And so if anything, man, hopefully it kind of brings up more opportunities here to San Antonio, for
No,
these
no.
five.
Maybe we'll see you on season 7. Maybe
Who knows, man? I thought about it, and they're just
you're
like, hey,
not, right. You don't want to be interviewed, and yeah.
yeah, it's just like between the work and all that stuff, man. Yeah, it's let me just let these guys have it.
There you go. There you go, man. No, bro. Well, man, I mean, I appreciate you, bro. I mean, I know you're with the family. You got the kids are starting school tomorrow, next week. I'm sorry.
uh, Next week or something. I think on Wednesday. So, it's I was off the last couple of days, and it's just like, hey, we got to get this. Hey, we got to get that. And I'm like, all right, cool. And then of course my son joined wrestling, and so we had to get him some running shoes, and we had to get him all these different things, and so yeah, it should be a real busy few months coming up here, and I know it's been a busy last couple of days, and then of course I'm back to days, right? I know that's something that I had talked to. I'm not doing night shift anymore, so that's been nice. Uh, but I mean, outside of that, man, yeah. I mean, I'm sorry that we haven't talked in quite a while, at least at the studio. So, but I'm glad we were able to do this today.
No, for
Yeah.
sure, man. I mean, the same here, bro. I appreciate whatever time you can give me. I mean, as always, I enjoy bringing you back on here. Not just because you're from San Antonio. I mean, you never bring me anything to eat or drink, but that's it's besides that, bro. It's your attitude coming in, man. I appreciate that, bro.
Hey, man. No, like I said, and then what do you call? I do. So, and speaking of that too, I've talked to a few other people. So I was getting my tattoo, boom, right there, right. You
There
guys
you
can
go.
really see it, but I was getting my tattoo, and one of the things I'm going to bring up on my little outlet as well is I'm going to be talking about the guys that do the same training, the sparring partners that don't get into the cage. Kind of, that was brought up by my guy Brian, who did my tattoo, and because he used to train with us back in the day as well, and he's been just about through every single gym as well. And he was talking about like, yeah, man, he's just like, just a topic, just something I would consider. He's like, but what about the perspective of the guys that train, you
Training
know,
part.
they, and they're sparring partners and they're doing all this stuff. He's like, but they never got in the cage, just because that's not what they wanted to do. They just wanted to train. So I'm going to kind of give my 2 cents on that, and we'll kind of go from there, man. So, uh,
You can interview me, bro, because I was a training dummy for years, bro. So the guys that were fighting back when for Renegades and Talent Challenge and all that from Mike Rangel, bro, I was one of their training partners, and yeah, man, it was mostly because I don't want to get hit. I mean, they were tagging me, bro. I ain't gonna lie, but I mean, it's just, I mean, I enjoyed the fact that they went out there and did what they did, man. But definitely, that's a good topic, though, man.
Yeah, so I'm gonna kind of and then yeah, I'll pick your brain, man. I have a few other guys that I want to talk to as well, but yeah, man. I mean, because and I never thought about it too. I mean, of course, as fighters, right? I mean, we're pretty selfish, so we're like, oh, well, just give me a body.
I
I
know,
don't care if
line
it's
them
like,
up.
yeah,
I
just
don't want names. You were like, I don't want names. Just line them up, man. I don't care what they're
yeah.
called. Let's go.
I don't need to know about your personal goals. I just got mine.
My man, bro. Well, I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to that, man. I mean, of course, for those watching this on the website, I mean, they can go to the Fight Card Podcast.
Yeah.
.com, and of course you're in the your links right in the center. So for everybody looking up, and it's through Anchor, right? But you have it on a few
Yeah.
outlets.
Yeah, through Anchor, man, and it'll be on Spotify as well. So, yeah, man, like I said, I got to do more of those, 5-7 minute little segments, man. Just giving my piece on things. The other one that I wanted to talk to, well, of course, was about kind of the women's division in general with Juliana Pena, because I'm a huge fan of her, and I think it was a long time coming for her to be champ, and then for her to get it taken away. So now I'm really interested to see how she bounces back
Right.
and see does differently, because I don't think her game plan really changed much. So kind of like, hey, I'll do the same thing and get the same result. And I'm like, no, you gotta evolve. So hopefully she learned that lesson, and we'll see what she does from there, man.
Yeah, man, and I'm interested too, man, because like Ronda Rousey, she lost the title and she didn't come back, bro, and it's just something mentally that just, you get that mental block, and it's hard for a lot of people to come back from a loss, and I mean, some people can, some don't, but my
Yeah.
man, I do appreciate you, bro. Anything you want to add, bro? Do you want to end this with a little rap, maybe? I'll give you a beat.
A little rep. Give me a beat, dude. Just give me a beat. I'll drop it right now, dude. No, because I got an album dropping, this December, so it's for the ho ho hos, right? No, I'm teasing, man. No, don't report that. Anyways, man. No, man. I mean, like I said, man, it's interesting, man. Talking to a lot of guys, that are actually. I mean, the place that I work at. I mean, there's a lot of guys that train, and there's a lot of guys that are wanting to train. And I'm like, man, just go train. I was like, the best thing you can do is you can realize when you go and you start training, the best thing you can do is train, and then realize how helpless and harmless you are.
Yeah.
that's probably the biggest thing, man. Because a lot of these guys are just like, oh man, I would do this, and I'm like, man, I know a couple of 16-year-olds that would just beat the crap out of you. So, everybody should go train.
Yeah, man. No, I was going to say, especially in that grappling aspect, because they take you down, man. It takes a lot of energy just to try to get back up. So
just
good luck
get
with
back
that.
up, man. Yeah, man. I mean, go train. And then another topic that kind of came up too was this guy. I have a guy. He's training out of ambush, man, and he's like, "Hey, sir, I'm trying to get sponsored." I'm like, "Good." I'm like, "Go make yourself a little highlight tape. Go put yourself out there, man. You gotta, really start to kind of do the groundwork to make sure that you're something that somebody wants to represent anyway." So, with that, we'll see how that goes. So like I said, I got a few things kind of coming up, man. That I've been working on. It hasn't been as fast as I've wanted it to be, but definitely something coming up. So, and then also too, man, I'll probably also start with with some other like fundraising or whatever, because I'm gonna have a few extra dollars, hopefully here, and I'm gonna probably start raffling off some stuff, or maybe even paying for some tuitions at some different schools, man. In the name of Don Nettleton. So we'll see how that goes.
No, yeah, you see, and I remember that, bro. So yeah, we'll definitely keep up with that and then bring it up to everybody's attention as far as when you're ready to go, dude. But yeah, man, I mean, call me in, bro. I'm definitely interested in doing something like that, also, man. Definitely.
Oh man, well, like I said, we'll get it, man. We'll
You
get it
got it.
going.
All right, bro. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Don't hang up yet. Of course, everybody. Aaron Suarez. This is Spider, the Fight Card Podcast. Till next time. Follow up.
Follow.